I am so disgusted with Blake Lively and her legal team, but at this point I'm not even surprised because they are continuing on a playbook that they have employed from the beginning of this case. The good news is it is not working the way they think it is. It is actually working against their higher goal, which is to somehow restore Blake Lively's reputation in Hollywood. That will never happen. It's never going to happen now. So earlier in this week, we got the news that Blake Lively's team filed something in the court, and in that filing, they released the unredacted deposition of Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, his partner, his business partner. And in this unsealed deposition, they released everything, including their addresses, their phone numbers, financial information, everything that Blake's team has been trying and fighting in court to keep sealed on their side. They've wanted to keep their address protected, their phone numbers, their financial information, and they have been able to do that because Justin Baldoni's side has protected their privacy. Justin Baldoni's side understands that there's a real present danger in releasing people's personal information when these people are public figures. And in all their filings, even when they have released information that annoyed Blake and her team, they have never exposed her to danger. They never doxed her. And Blake's team has been consistently doxing people that they have gone against during this case. They released the address and other very sensitive, inflammatory information about Steve Sorowitz, the other business partner of Wayfair Studios. And it resulted in some deranged person showing up to Steve's home, leaving a very menacing letter demanding money, threatening to harm his daughter and his wife. And they actually managed to start a little fire in a portion of the house. Thankfully, the whole house didn't burn up, but people could have died because of the irresponsible actions of Blake Lively's lawyers. But they're not the only people who've been doxxed by Blake's legal team. They have done it time and time again. Remember that time when they were threatening content creators, trying to find non-existent evidence that these content creators had been contacted by Baldoni's team and paid to put out negative stories about Blake Lively? While they were doing this shakedown, they doxed a couple of people. They put out their information, their contact information. And now they have done this to the two principal people who are being accused by Blake Lively. And what's especially disturbing about this is that Justin Baldoni left California in light of all this that was happening. He took his family and relocated to another state for their protection. And the fact that one of the first questions they asked Justin during this deposition, Blake's lawyers asked him to state his address. And then they released that information to the public. So now the new location where he had moved for the safety of his family is now out in the world, out to the public to know. Out for Blake Lively's deranged handful of fans to know where they can find him. I need you to understand this. Doxing people, releasing their information is not that difficult to do if you are a multi-million, probably multi-billion-dollar legal firm. These people, this is not their first time at the rodeo. They know how to conceal, how to redact sensitive information. It's part of their job description. They know how to do this. In fact, one of the main investigators for Blake Lively is an ex-CIA guy. You know, these people know how to conceal information they don't want out there. And the fact that this team of lawyers have consistently been releasing private information of people that they are going after, this is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. This is an act of hostility. This is complete disregard for the safety of people who are engaged in a legal battle that is a civil case. Okay, this is not a criminal case. And the fact that they have done this, not only to Justin and Jamie and Steve, but also to small content creators who are exercising their First Amendment right of free speech. The fact that they have not been sanctioned at this point after repeatedly doing this, if you need any further proof that the judge is extremely biased in favor of Blake Lively, here's your proof. And from what I understand, not too long ago, the judge kind of got annoyed and he put his foot down. And he said, no more disclosing of personal information or else. Well, it's time for the or else, Judge Lyman. It's time for you to show that you are an unbiased court officer that is seeking to provide justice for the party that proves that they didn't do anything wrong. It is time for you to stand on something and say, once is an accident, twice is a pattern, 3 times is deliberate. And it's time for you to do something. I hope that Justin and his team hit them hard for this. And to further prove that Blake and Ryan have the whole Hollywood ecosystem in their pocket, the trade magazines, instead of really giving the news of what happened, that defendants in the case have been doxxed by Blake Lively's team, instead of reporting that, they are reporting that Justin is trying to unseal private information from Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, trying to make him seem, Justin, as the aggressor here, when he just got put on Front Street by these people. I am disgusted. And the fact that Ryan Reynolds is trying to act like he's not one of the main people involved in this case. Remember, when they went after these content creators, one of the questions they were asking them is, we want to see every communication, everything that you have about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And this was after the judge tossed Justin's case, where he went after Blake, Ryan, Marvel Studios, the New York Times, etc. That case had already been thrown out. And yet, Blake Lively's team were asking content creators, we want to see everything you have written or communications you have had with the Wayfair team or their lawyers regarding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. This case is starting to feel like a circus, like a fever dream, like something that is, those dreams that you have that don't make any sense, that you keep trying to run through the door, but every time you open the door, there's a wall there. And then you open the window and it's not looking out to the outside, but another room with another sealed door. It's like, where's the judge? Where are the checks and balances? Where is the real justice that we're waiting for? Like I said, this is not working the way they thought it would. This is not going to help Blake and Ryan to recover their reputations. The more they punch down and break the rules and get away with these things, the more anger and hostility we, the people, are going to feel against them. And the more we're going to talk against them. None of this is going to go away. But most importantly, the actions that the legal team has been taking, this established professional team of lawyers, the more they act like, oops, didn't mean to do that, that was an accident, which is very obviously them doing it on purpose, the more it tells me that they know that they are losing. And that's why they have to resort to these extreme measures to try and rattle the other side, to try and get them to do something crazy, to retaliate in some way. They're trying to get Justin to say something really disrespectful towards Blake. And it's really funny because they released the deposition. I haven't really sat down to read the whole thing. I have been listening to commentary from others who are going through the 300 plus pages of the deposition that were released. And none of it makes Justin look bad. Absolutely none of it. He looks better and better, and his case is stronger and stronger as the days go by. And I go back to what the press, how they're trying to pretend like Blake Lively is just trying to protect Taylor Swift and Justin is trying to expose Taylor. Let me tell you something. They are desperately trying to get the Swifties to get on Blake's side. But the Swifties are going to follow the lead of their mother. And their mother has nothing to do with Blake anymore. She won't talk about her. She won't acknowledge her. Blake is kind of dead to her. And so all of these, dog whistles that they're trying to get out there to try to get the army of Swifties to go after Justin, it's not working. It's not working. The Swifties are very much not on Team Blake anymore. And so these tactics show two things: desperation and lack of self-awareness. They really don't have the self-awareness of how this is coming across. And when people hear self-awareness, they usually think, oh, I'm a self-aware person, thinking, I know what I'm feeling. I know where I'm coming from. I'm self-aware. That's not what it means. To be self-aware means that you are aware of how you are coming across to other people, how other people see you, how they perceive you, how even though you might be thinking that you're saying this, what the people are hearing is something different. And you need to be aware of that so you can adjust your communication to make sure that you get across what you're trying to get across to other people. Blake's legal team, including Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, are not really aware of how they are coming across to the public by pulling off stunts like these. They're just making themselves more hated and less tolerated. I remember the night that Judge Lyman, the day when he announced that he was throwing out Justin's case. And that same night, Blake went out to some red carpet thing and she was standing there smiling, really smug, that little smug smile on her face. And I'm thinking, who advised her to do this? She doesn't come across as strong and powerful. She came across as this little nagging little gnat. As this little, I won this round. I got him. I squashed him. That is not the look that you should have been showing at that moment. At that moment where your legal team got that major victory, you should have stayed home and released the statement that you released saying, I feel so good about this. This has been a nightmare. I just want to leave this ugly chapter behind. Whatever she was going to say. But going out there with that smug smile on her face, her legal team is not helping her in any way. They're not helping. They're just making everything worse. And all these articles coming out trying to make her look good and making Justin look bad, it's just making the public not really trust anything. We're just becoming more and more aware of the fact that the media can paint any narrative they want to paint that is completely devoid of reality. Again, I don't want to get political, but in the last few days, there have been these things happening in the news. We heard about the incident in Minnesota. And it was almost disorienting to watch the video and then listening to the official statements that were put out by the government about what actually happened. And we're looking at the video and we're listening to the statement and we're like, oh my goodness, they really think we can't see what's happening. And the truth is, in the past, it was a lot easier for the media to paint a narrative and for us to believe it. Look at how they did Britney. The media repeating, she's a bad mother, she's a terrible person, she's out of control. And I've talked about this in a video, I think it was 2 years ago, I'm going to link it below, where I basically talk about the fact that yes, Britney is not well. She is unwell. She is terribly mentally impaired. But I believe that it was while she was in the conservatorship that mental damage took place. Not at the beginning. When Britney went into this thing, I truly believe that she went into the conservatorship with severe postpartum depression. She didn't need to be institutionalized. She needed a hug. She needed for the people around her who claimed to love her to whisk her away. Take her somewhere, not to a padded, walled hospital room, but take her somewhere in nature where it's quiet, away from all the noise from the paparazzi, from the entertainment industry, and just have her and her children and lots of help with those children around her to just breathe, to have counselors talking to her, to putting things into perspective. She needed a lot of rest. She was exhausted. She was running around the city trying to find peace after losing custody of her children. And she just needed some sleep. She needed to know that the people around her weren't there to take and take and take from her, but to help her, to assist her. Whatever you need. What do you need today? What can we do to help you today? If Britney had gotten that for a whole year, we wouldn't be seeing this person falling apart, spinning and spinning and spinning in front of the camera, wearing very little clothing, completely damaged. But the damage was done during the conservatorship, during which time they flooded her with Valium and other powerful narcotics, which literally changed the chemistry of her brain. And the Britney we see today, this damaged person, was the result of the campaign that was put out there. The conservatorship and the damage they did during that time reinforced what the media was saying, which was an agenda that was already set up by some powerful people who wanted to destroy her. And I also made a video lamenting the fact that, or expressing my fears, that this case could really turn Justin into the person they painted him to be. That with all these headlines that have been paid for and influenced by Blake Lively and her powerful team to paint this narrative of this dangerous, predatory, anti-woman man who was pretending to be a feminist, that eventually it would be so powerful that Justin would be like, wow, so this is what happens when we listen to women? This is what happens when we believe women? Well, maybe I should join the manosphere. Maybe I should be one of those guys that said, don't believe women, don't listen to women. Because if this is what happens when you invite a woman to be a part of the creative process in a movie, and she ends up creating lies and kicking you off of your own movie to take over just because you wanted to be the kind of director that a woman can trust, if this is what happens, maybe I should be the opposite. I was so delighted to hear that during the deposition, Blake's lawyer said, so have you heard that you are now the poster child for the manosphere? That men who hate women are on your side now? And Justin said, you know what? I think that's good. Because I've always wanted to reach those people who are so misguided. I wanted to put my book where I talk about how listening to women is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. I wanted this information to reach them. And so maybe now that they are on my side, maybe I can reach them and help them to be better men, the kind of men that women can trust. He didn't say it in those words, but that's what he implied. And I was so happy because it was my fear that this case would ruin him. The way the media painted a portrait of Britney Spears that alongside with the conservatorship created that to be a reality. I am so glad that Justin is standing his ground and he's not allowing this miscarriage of justice to change him into the very man that they're trying to paint him to be. And there was this part in the deposition where they talk about how Jenny Slate complained about him and how she was uncomfortable and that she doesn't feel that he's the kind of man that he says he is. And they said, how do you feel about that? Did you know that Jenny thought this way about you? And he said, no, I didn't know. How does it make you feel? And instead of saying, well, as a man, you know, I think she's lying and I think she... You know what Justin said? Justin said, it makes me sad. And I'm like, yes, yes. Yes, he is standing his ground. He is still the kind of man who can show vulnerability because he's strong enough and man enough to show that it is okay to be sad, to be disappointed, and not seek out revenge, but to be in touch with your feelings and just stand on the truth and keep telling the truth. It doesn't matter who believes you. It doesn't matter how it makes you look. Just keep telling the truth. That makes me so happy. I don't know if Justin will ever see this video, but if you ever watch this, I am so, so proud of you. I am rooting for you and I am praying for you, and I trust that justice will prevail. If not in a corrupt court of law, in the court of public opinion, you have already won. Just stay the course, keep the faith, and don't let these people drag you down, because the truth always comes out. Okay? That is my message to Justin today. But let me know what you think about what I had to say today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see me do more commentary on this case, other cases, and things that are happening in the news and in pop culture. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Thank you so much for your comments, guys. I read all of your comments, and I may be slow in answering or acknowledging them, but believe me, I see all of your comments, and I just love this community that we are building. You guys are so smart and so perceptive, and I learn something new every time I listen to what you have to say. So thank you once again for your comments. Leave them here today. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. Please share this video with others if you think it was interesting. While you are here, watch all the other videos that I've done on this case that I have linked below. Thanks once again for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.